What's going on, guys? I'm your host, Beau, here to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on anything going on in the world of entertainment, and this is the spoiler review for Thor Ragnarok. So if you have not seen Thor Ragnarok, do not watch this video because we're going to be talking about major spoilers, major plot points, all that cool stuff in the spoiler review. You can check out my non-spoiler review. I did my best to not spoil anything, and yeah, so this is a spoiler review, so if you've not seen the movie, go away, because this is a spoiler review. You'll be watching this video on Sunday, and yeah, so let's jump right into the spoilers. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is, I wanted to talk more about Hela. I didn't really talk about her too much in my non-spoiler review. In my non-spoiler review, I talked about how Hela, how I personally felt that the performance was good, but the character, I thought, just wasn't good. And here's why. We find out in Thor Ragnarok that Hela is Thor's sister. That Hela is the firstborn from Odin, and that she is also Thor's sister. And that she's battled with Odin back in the day, and that the whole everything that Thor knows about, Odin and such is a lie, and that Hela and Odin used to fight a little bit for a different cause back in the day than Odin does now. So, what I said in my non-spoiler review is that I thought Hela's, like, the person who plays Hela, Kate Blanchett, I think that's her name. I think she did a great job with the performance, but as a character, she kind of fell stale because she was, as I said, she was just another Marvel villain. I felt like if they gave more time in the beginning to establish who she was, I think that then she would have been a lot better, because one of my biggest complaints about Thor Ragnarok is the first few minutes of this movie. As I mentioned in my non-spoiler review, the very first 20 minutes of this movie are very fast. Like they go very, very quick with some exposition. Some things are just overlooked and also wrapped up very quick. For example, when Odin dies, like when we see Odin just for the last few moments, that should have been a heartfelt moment. That should have been a moment for Thor where it's heartfelt, it's a powerful moment. But in the movie, it's done very quickly. Like what happens in the movie is that Thor tells Loki to help him find Odin, and through the help of Doctor Strange, which that was cool when Doctor Strange was there. That was cool for the moment he was there. They find Odin, and Odin tells Thor and Loki about Hela, and then he's gone. And I just wanted that moment to be a lot more powerful. It's because it's literally Thor's dad. That's Thor and Loki's dad. Loki's air quote dad, because he's adopted. But I just thought that moment should have been a lot more powerful, and they just kind of breezed through it. And I get it, they want to get past that so they can show off Hulk and Valkyrie and all the other characters. I get that, but for a moment like that, a very powerful moment for Thor, like Odin's death, that should have been a very powerful moment and a lot more meaningful moment than rather just being something to just breeze by in the first 20 minutes. So that was my first complaint, was the first 20 minutes and how they handled Odin's death. The other major complaint that I have about this film, don't worry, we're going to get to a lot more positive things. I just want to address the negatives I had about this movie first and foremost. But the other huge complaint, and I think that a lot of people are going to complain about this, it's these last two things. Where the heck is Lady Sif and Thor's best friends? They never mention them at all. They are never mentioned at all. They don't have, Thor doesn't have a sentence to literally say where Lady Sif is. They don't mention where everybody else is. They just basically are alluding to the fact that they might have possibly been killed by Hela or something. Basically, they're gone. They're gone. They're never mentioned, and to me, that is stupid. um, because this is the third film in the Thor trilogy, and those characters were both in the first film and in the second film, and I feel like they should obviously be there for the last film in the trilogy. I get why Jamie Alexander couldn't be there because of scheduling reasons, but at least they give reference to her or some flashback, something. I mean, heck, Black Widow got a small appearance, like that clip, like that the Quinjet scene with Black Widow and Hulk. Her part made it into the film. Like, Black Widow got a small part, so why can't Jamie Alexander's like Lady Sif or the other characters get a small like cameo or flashback sequence or something? I just feel like that to me was kind of disappointing. They should have at least alluded to where they were. Like, did they get killed? Are they on a separate mission? Like, something. But they were never mentioned at all. So, and my last complaint, and I think that this is my biggest one out of all of them. All of them are pretty big, but this is, in my opinion, the biggest one. And that is when we get to the final scenes in the movie. It's the major, and this is why I gave this Thor Ragnarok a B+, because quite honestly, it is a good movie. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the movie, but this particular scene is why I gave Thor Ragnarok a B+, and here's why. And that was the scene where Asgard is gone, like it's destroyed. They bring Ragnarok back to life to kill Hela, and because of that, Ragnarok then has to destroy Asgard. Asgard is destroyed, and what follows after this is a joke of how the foundation, how we could build upon it, we can rebuild, and then Asgard gets destroyed, and then they'd make it as like a big joke. And don't get me wrong, I laughed at that joke. I thought it was funny, but that was one of the moments in the movie where the joke was not needed at all. If Thor's like home is destroyed, Asgard is gone. Again, like Odin's death scene, this should have been a very big moment for Thor, a big, powerful moment, a big emotional moment. And what they do is that they just kind of make it a joke. They make it something funny. And that to me shouldn't have happened. They should have made that a powerful moment for Thor. And I laughed at the joke, but I was just like, your home was destroyed. You should be sad. You should be like emotionally wrecked or something. But they make it a big joke. And I just did not like that. I wish they would have just like made it a little bit more serious. But yeah, those are just my complaints that I want to address in the spoilers review. These are some of the complaints I just couldn't address in my non-spoiler review, and I want to address here first and foremost. So those are my complaints. Those are pretty much all my complaints that I have about Thor Ragnarok. It's all the moments. It's basically a lot of the big thing that people are asking is this movie have too much comedy, too much humor? I would say in certain moments, yes. They should have taken the humor down a little bit. And the fact that they should have addressed what happened to certain characters, like Lady Sif and Thor's best friends. They should have, figure out what happened to them. And that's to me one of the biggest problems is that while this is a really good film, while it is a really good comedy, it doesn't really do a lot of world building. But that being said, that is also a really big positive for me. Because if you guys know me up to this point, with the Marvel movies, especially for this year, one of my big complaints about Marvel movies in general is that all of them have to lead to the next movie. They always have to build up towards another movie. With Thor Ragnarok, while it does build up, like towards the end credits, basically the end credits scene is what built up to Avengers: Infinity War. With Thanos' ship. Besides that, if you remove the end credits scene, they don't really build up to Infinity War. Like the last scene of the movie is Thor telling the whole people of Asgard that they're going to Earth now. That to me, I love that they don't rely a lot on world building in this movie, and it's a very self-contained story. They do allude to a lot of the previous things, like the first Avengers and particularly Age of Ultron. There's a lot of references to Age of Ultron, and makes sense because Thor and Hulk were not there during the events of Civil War, so it makes sense that that they still are like talking about, or maybe or there's like references to Age of Ultron, because that's the last movie that they were in. But I really like that this movie didn't rely a whole lot on the world building aspect that Marvel usually throws in a lot of their movies, because that's usually what these Marvel movies usually do, is that they always build up to the next movie. And I personally don't like that. I wish that they would just be their own thing. And that's why I say Thor Ragnarok is the best Marvel movie of the year, because it doesn't rely on the world building. It's really its own thing, and it does not build up to something else. It doesn't build up to Infinity War. If you take out the end credit scenes and you have Thor Ragnarok as it doesn't build up to anything. It just is where it is, and it doesn't like build up to Infinity War or anything. It's just where it is, and that's what I really like about Thor Ragnarok, is that it doesn't build up, and that it's something on its own. So that's what I liked. That's what I really, really loved about Thor Ragnarok, is that it doesn't rely so much on world building like other Marvel movies have to. The other thing that I really loved was the Thor and Hulk fight. I love the small, like I said, there's a lot of Age of Ultron references in this film. The one where Thor is trying to calm Hulk, sun's getting real low. I love that Hulk just basically just says "screw you" and throws him across the arena. I thought that was hilarious. The fight itself with Thor and Hulk, I thought was fun. I thought it was freaking fun. I just loved the fight. It was, especially with Jeff Goldblum and Loki just sitting there. My absolute favorite part of the fight was when Hulk throws Thor around, just like how he threw Loki around in the Avengers, and you see Loki in the background going, "You see, that's how it feels." And when he said that, I bursted into laughter, because that was just a funny moment in the fight, and it reminded me immediately of the Avengers. And it's like basically Loki saying like, "Hey, if you want to see how it felt, that's how it felt." So that was fun. I loved the fight between Thor and Hulk. The fight scenes in general were just all out fun. I just really loved all the fight scenes in general. The thing that I also really loved about this movie, and the marketing, that's the thing that I really loved about this movie that I want to talk about, is the marketing for this film was very, very well done. Especially if you watch the Infinity War trailer from D23, even they were smart when it came to with Thor Ragnarok coming out, because in Thor Ragnarok, one of the big reveals that happens in the movie, or one of the big things that happens in Thor Ragnarok, is that Thor loses an eye, and he has that patch, that thing that Odin had. Now Thor has that same patch, and they did a really good job with hiding that. They did a lot of false advertisement, and they also put in a lot of scenes in the trailers that didn't even make it into the movie. This happened also with Spider-Man: Homecoming, like that shot with Iron Man and Spider-Man, swinging around together. That didn't make it in Spider-Man: Homecoming. With Thor Ragnarok, there's this shot with with all four, Thor, Valkyrie, Loki, and Hulk standing right beside each other. That didn't make it into the movie. And the shot where Thor is all got like his lightning and everything. He has his two eyes in the trailer, but in the actual movie he has his one eye, because his sister Hela chopped it off. So I really, really love how they handled the marketing. And the same thing happened with the Infinity War trailer. If you watch the Infinity War trailer, when Thor meets the Guardians in the Infinity War trailer, he still has his two eyes. So I just really, really like how Marvel handles their marketing, and that they're self-aware of everything that happens within their movies, and that they don't spoil anything when it comes to advertising their movies following up from Thor Ragnarok. So that to me was brilliant. I really, really loved the marketing campaign for this film, and that they didn't give away too much. Now I want to talk about the cameos, because there were a lot of cameos in this movie. Not from Marvel superheroes. The only one that made a cameo was Doctor Strange, and like I said, Black Widow. at one point made a small appearance, but as I mentioned, it was just like rehash from the Age of Ultron, that scene with Hulk and Black Widow and the Quinjet. But Doctor Strange makes an appearance, and I really like the Doctor Strange appearance. I know some people were saying that that scene may have been forced. I think that it worked. It worked for what it was, because it made sense when you watch it, because it ties in with the Doctor Strange post-credit scene. Because there's literally a shot in this movie that's literally the Doctor Strange post-credit scene, and I really love that. I love that they tied in that post-credit scene right into Thor Ragnarok, and I love that. I love that about Doctor Strange's appearance, and I just love the way he teleports around and Thor just reacts. He like falls and everything. That to me was funny, and it also shows that Doctor Strange is a very powerful character, and even Loki can't even stand up to him. Doctor Strange is a very, very powerful character, and I really, really like that small cameo. I thought that was pretty cool. There was a lot of celebrity appearances. There was a Matt Damon one that was pretty funny. Liam Hemsworth also makes a cameo appearance. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked that cameo, and of course, Stan Lee. I like the Stan Lee cameo here. I think that it's not one of his best, I'll admit. I don't think it's one of his best cameos. But I like this cameo because it serves a purpose for the story. Stan Lee is actually the one who cuts Thor's hair off. I thought that was pretty funny. So that cameo had some purpose. It had some purpose for the story. So it's one of the reasons. It's who cut Thor's hair off. It was Stan Lee. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really wanted to discuss. I think that's pretty much all I want to say. I mean, the post-credit scenes, as I mentioned, we get to see Thanos' ship. I don't know what that's alluding to. I don't know if that means that if everybody in Asgard is going to be killed off, and Thor ends up floating around in space, or Thanos captures everybody, all the Asgardians, and they just cast Thor out. I don't know. We'll see what happens in Infinity War. And then also the last post-credit scene was with Jeff Goldblum's character at the very end, like a little jokey joke scene. And yeah, overall, I really had a lot of fun with Thor Ragnarok. As I mentioned, the biggest complaint that I just have is that there's just a lot of jokes that they throw into this, and it's good when the jokes work most of the time, but when it's needed to be dramatic, and they keep throwing in these jokes, it just doesn't work. It's just kind of forced down your throat with some of the jokes, and they keep throwing it at you, saying hey, this is a joke, this is a joke, this is a joke, when really some of the stuff should have been dramatic. Like, for example, Odin's death, that should have been more dramatic. When Asgard is literally destroyed, that should have been dramatic. But how they handled them was kind of jokey. The way they handled it was they went for a more humorous route than for a dramatic route, and I just think that it should have been the other way around. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. I still maintain a B+. I don't think that my score is still an 8.8 out of 10, or an 8.7. It's one of those two. Definitely enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. Definitely the best Marvel movie, best MCU movie of this year. I definitely loved this movie. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. The last thing that I want to really touch base on is they didn't really give a clear explanation as to why Hulk got to the planet. They never really gave a clear explanation as to what happened to the events to where and here, and I don't know if that's alluding to a Hulk standalone movie or something. That would be pretty cool, but because I know we're hearing more recent rumors nowadays about a Hulk standalone film. Seeing how the MCU is going forward, I don't think a Hulk standalone film will happen, but yeah, I just that's another small complaint is that they didn't really give a clear explanation as to what happened with Hulk and how he got to this place. Um, but I like that they said that Hulk was like Hulk for 2 years and that Bruce Banner is a little bit different now. Like he's more comic book Hulk. That's what I like. Let me just say this very quickly. I like how this Hulk is more comic book Hulk because like he's the way when Hulk is like when Bruce Banner is Hulk, Hulk is the Hulk that I know. Like he's like speaking, he's like Hulk smash, Hulk wanted to do this. Like that's the Hulk that I know. He's like the Grimlock of the Marvel characters, and I like this. I just like the voice. I like how this character is growing. But the very very small thing, and this is kind of where the Marvel timeline kind of goes wishy washy, like kind of starts to break a little. Is Hulk's new look, his new CGI model, kind of breaks the timeline a little bit because the Hulk look is vastly different from the Hulk in the previous movies, or a lot different in some respects. I just feel like they should have kept the same model, and then added the voice in. But I get it; they need to change the look a little bit because he's been Hulk for 2 years now, and he's been wearing all these gladiatorial armor and all this stuff. I get it. I get why they have to change the look a little bit. But it would have been nice to see the same model, just you know what I mean, the same CGI model, so that it stays consistent throughout the universe. But I get why they have to change it a little bit. I just wish they would have explained it a little bit better of how Hulk got to where, why he looks a little bit different, why he could speak. And same thing goes for the characters like Thor and everybody else. I wish they would have reacted to that. I wish they would have reacted to the fact that Hulk is speaking now. Because when Hulk speaks, Thor is just like, oh, you could speak now. Like, he doesn't, like Thor's not, oh my gosh, you could speak now. Like, he's just like, oh, okay. Like, it should have just reacted a little bit more. Because this is the first time that we're seeing Hulk speak. Like, fluently, not just saying Hulk smash. Like, he's literally speaking now. Like, Hulk, say this and this. Like, I just wish the characters would have reacted a little bit more to that, but they didn't. But overall, Thor Ragnarok, a fun time. I had a lot of fun with it. B+ still. It's a really, really fun movie. Definitely go check it out when you guys get the chance to. And, yeah, that is it for my long spoiler review for Thor Ragnarok. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know, what was some of your favorite moments in Thor Ragnarok? Do you think there was too much comedy in certain parts, like I think? Do you think that they should have explained Hulk's, how he got to here a little bit more? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And that is it for my spoilers review for Thor Ragnarok. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, as we end these videos, Beau out. See you next time. Peace.